is there a light that you have inside you can't touch? A looking glass can only show you so much. Follow the signs, slowly but steady, don't rush. That day will come when you're ready, just trust. Dancing on the astral plane, holy water cleansing rain, floating through the stratosphere, blind but yet you see so clear. Well, is there a way for you to shine without fear? From other worlds, but you can't say what keeps you here. Dancing on the astral plane, holy water cleansing rain, floating through the stratosphere, blind but yet you see so clear. Dancing on the astral plane, holy water cleansing rain, floating through the stratosphere, blind but yet you see so clear. Blind but yet you see, blind but yet you see, blind but yet you see, blind but yet you see so clear. Well, is there a way for you to give it your all? Dreaming a dream of sweeter things, great or small. Dancing on the astral plane, holy water cleansing rain, floating through the stratosphere, blind but yet you see so clear. Dancing on the astral plane, holy water cleansing rain, floating through the stratosphere, blind but yet you see so clear. Dancing on the astral plane, holy water cleansing rain, floating through the stratosphere, blind but yet you see so clear. Blind but yet you see, blind but yet you see, blind but yet you see, blind but yet you see so clear. Well, there is a light that you have inside you can touch.
Hi everyone, I'm Madison Mills with the New York Times. Thank you so much for joining us with this live performance with Valerie June. We are including all of you, the audience, directly, so be sure to submit your questions. I'm also joined in the chat by our music editor, Karen Gaines, and pop music critic, John Perellis. So let's go to the first audience question for you, Valerie. We have an audience question from Sarah. She's a reader from Cypress, California. She says, love the new album, Valerie, lots of exclamation points. Can you tell us more about the song Astral Plane and how it came to be? It is so different from other songs you have written. I love it.
Thank you, Sarah. I was cooking when I wrote Astral Plane, and the way I started was with the cutting board and a knife, chopping up some onions, just making dinner like normal. And then I got the oil hot using cast iron, so let the oil get a little hot, and I put the onions in, and they started to saute, and then I started chopping up the garlic, and as I was chopping that, then this voice started singing to me, dancing on the astral plane, and holy water cleansing rain. So then I kept chopping, and I was like, oh, that sounds nice. Astral plane, dancing. Put the garlic in, and then I heard the rest of it floating through the stratosphere. Blind, but yet you see so clear. Shake around this food so it doesn't stick. And so then I was like, oh, I'm getting a song. because that's how it happens. It happens while I'm doing other things, while I'm gardening or cooking or working on anything else. Anything. Walking to the store, running errands. The voices come while I'm doing stuff. And sometimes they've come when I was sleeping. I've written 2 songs in dreams. So pretty much I could be doing anything and the songs start coming. And when they come, I just have to stop what I'm doing, turn the eye down, and sit there and try to get the rest. And if it doesn't come, or if I'm too busy with the task that I'm doing, then I just keep it on repeat in my mind. I keep singing it again and again and again and again until it's just glued in there. And when I have time to sit down, then I'll write what I've heard. But the fun thing is that the songs come, the ones that I've written for this record. Sometimes I write with other writers, and that's a different process. But for the songs that I've written for myself, they come while I'm doing other things. So that's how that one came.
Great, thank you so much. And we have another audience question from Patrick. He's a reader from Durham, North Carolina. He says, the first time I saw Valerie June was at a tiny library in Como, Mississippi. There she talked about researching older music at the Library of Congress, if I remember correctly, and the importance of this on her own style. My question, is this still an important part of your writing process? And if so, what would you say are the biggest influences on this latest amazing album?
I believe that artists like me, who are very curious about the artists that we love and listen to, if I hear something that moves me, I want to know where it came from. Who were the parents of this person? Like, where did they live? Like, did they use hot bath water or did they like a lukewarm, you know? And so I think we just always have minds that are inquiring and that are asking questions. And so I think it's very important for us to look and see what is the history of music and of, like, how do we get here versus just getting some songs and deciding we want to sing them and not knowing anything about where it might have come from. How were other artists before me inspired? So I think the search is ever forward. As you dig into the past, you go into the future, both at the same time, simultaneously. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of use those 2 sides of things to be able to understand who I am as an artist. And the other part about how is this a part of the new record, what I said to you before in the first question from Sarah was that these songs come to me. So I don't really have control over, like, what songs come to me, if it's a blues song or a country song or a rock and roll song or a lullaby. I get whatever song comes. But what I do have control over is what I choose to sing out of the 100 or 200 songs that I have. And I could have chosen to just sing all the ones that sound like traditional music and sound like country music. Or I could have chosen to sing only the ones that are rock and roll. Well, if I would have chosen to sing those, only rock and roll, I'd be a rock and roll star or whatever. If I would have chosen to do only the country ones, then I would have been an only country person. If I would have chosen to do only the traditional roots ones, then that would have made me a traditional roots artist. But I feel like the thing that I must choose is to sing the ones that I feel with all my heart. That's why this line in the song Shakedown, feel it when you sang it, is so important, because I have to be able to feel the songs that I'm going to sing. So I look at the list and I say, well, I feel this one, I feel that one, I feel that one, and maybe for the ones that I don't necessarily feel at this time, in due time, I will feel, or maybe they're for another singer. Maybe I've written them and I'll find that perfect voice or that perfect, like, mood or attitude that can, like, deliver it night after night and really feel it. But the requirement is always that you must feel it when you sing it. So these are the songs I've chosen to sing because I'm feeling them right now. And some of them are very old, you know. So while I might have felt them years ago, if I'm still feeling it today, that makes it one that I want to sing now. If I wrote it years ago and it's just kind of like just there, then I've chosen not to put it on the record, you know. So that's the rule. You got to feel it.
Great, and we have a question from our audience, Jacob L. He's a reader from Miami, Florida. He says, who are some of your vocal inspirations?
Vocal inspirations. Most of my vocal inspirations come from my childhood, from going to church and being surrounded by 500 people every Sunday at Church of Christ. There's no instruments in the church, and there's not a choir. What happens is everybody goes, and you all sit in a pew together. There's one song leader of the 500 people, and they'll call out the song, and you turn to the page in the book and you sing the song. But in doing that, I heard so many different types of voices. Older gentlemen, younger gentlemen, kids, grandladies, all of these different types of people, and grandparents, and then also black and white, the differences in black and white voices, because when I was younger, we went to more all predominantly like black church, but then once I got about 10 and 12, we moved to the other side of town, and the church was more white folks were going, and we were the only black family. We sang the same songs, but we sang them when I was born up to 10. The black church sang more like from the lower register, and when I went to the white church, they sang more from the head, from more like oh. So those are the ones that taught me the most. It would be about 1,000 people, like every Sunday morning, every Sunday night, and every Wednesday. That's a lot times 18 years. I got a good vocal training from just people who went to church, just folks, I call it training. I don't know if you would.
And going along with that, we have a related question from Scott. He's a reader joining us from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He says, I would love to know what Valerie's favorite hymn is and to hear it performed.
Oh, I loved it. I have a lot of favorite hymns. One of the number one hymns I like to perform is This World Is Not My Home, which I think fits in just fine against Astral Plane because we're just a passing through. That's what it says. My treasures are laid up somewhere beyond the blue. Well, the angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. You'll have to hear the rest of the shows.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Valerie. We'd love to hear another song.
Thank you. All right. Let's see here. This is a very old one. It's one that came from when I lived in Memphis. And the producer on this one is different than the rest of the record. His name is Richard Swift. But it took about 10 years for me to come to the place where I found a similar connection with another musician and producer as what I had when I originally performed the song in Memphis with the trio. It's a magical thing when you find those kind of connections. Take my breath away, and you put me down. Teach me how to play again. I said when I thought my heart had fallen with the rain, taught me how to love again. Your sweet eyes, they don't lie, and your healing touch, yes, love, put it down aside. Well, I opened my heart and just found we are one, we are one, just in time. When my voice was dry and my eyes were sore from tears, taught me how to face my fears. Well, I've tasted love before, but I never saw the light. opened up the door. Your sweet eyes, they don't lie, and your healing touch just love from my downside. Well, I opened my heart just to find we are one, we are one, just in time.
Thank you so much, Valerie. And for those of you who are joining in late, I'll remind you that I'm Madison Mills, reporter at the New York Times. And thank you all so much for joining us for this live performance with Valerie June. We are including the audience directly in this, so if you're watching, please be sure to submit your questions and I will ask Valerie some. I'll remind you I'm joined in the chat by our music editor Karen Gaines and pop music critic John Perellis. So another audience question we have is from Maddie Ivy Leeds. She's a reader from Tamales, California. She asks, what part of the creative process brings you the most satisfaction? Is it composing the music, writing the lyrics, practicing, recording, performing, or some combination thereof?
That's a very easy question to answer. And you know, the funny thing, when I started to set out on this musical path, I didn't realize that there were so many different sides of it that a person can become a master of. I was just like, I took it for granted, the whole entertainment side, but that's an art that a person must learn, how to be in front of a crowd. You either, maybe some people are born with it, but I wasn't, so I had to learn how to like not be so nervous in front of people. And, you know, the whole side of going into a studio and making a record. I was so nervous on Pushing Against the Stone. I've never been in a studio to make a full-time, like, big production real record. So that side was one to be learned. And then the only side that I think I just naturally fell into is the songwriting. So more than anything, more than calling myself any genre or style or any form, I call myself a songwriter, a singer-songwriter, because I started writing songs when I was basically a baby, able to first get words out. I was writing songs about rainbows and frogs and trees and all kinds of things like that, and it came the same way then as it comes now for me. I heard this little voice singing these songs to me, and I sang them to you the way that I hear them being sung to me. And that's a really fascinating and beautiful process for me. I love it. It's great ease. It's great, you know, just inspiration, and it's pure, it's gentle, and all of these, I can dance in that world. And the songs take me to other places. They take me to other worlds through voices. And I always tell people that it's similar to the way that a composer hears an arrangement for a symphony, where they hear the strings and then they hear the horns and then they hear just the different layers in their head, and they're able to write the arrangement based off what they hear. What I hear is just voices. I hear one voice that sings to me, "We are one, just in time." And then as that voice sings that, then 1,000 more voices will come in and start joining around it like a chorus or a choir in my head. And so I hear the voice, and whenever I hear it, all these voices, they're different. Some of them are men, some of them women, some of them children. So I try to make my voice fit what I hear, so I serve the song. So the songwriting is really the most important part, and so fun, and I don't question it ever. I have no doubt about it. I get so like excited when a song is coming, or I feel something. It's not always excitement. Sometimes it's sadness, sometimes it's happiness, sometimes it's, you know, it's just so many different emotions that come with the songs. And some songs take me places, and, you know, like Astral and With You, they take me somewhere that's very turquoise and dreamy and iridescent, and I love that. And I hope that you are able to go to those places whenever I sing the song to you. But there's really no guarantee, you know. I'm grateful that I get to go. So, yeah, the songwriting.
Great, thank you. And we have another audience question from Shelley Boomhauer. She's a reader from Quebec. She says, "Hello, John and Valerie. Does Valerie have a special song that brings back the memory of her dad? I share her broken heart having lost my father at an early age."
Wow. Well, I'm 35, so I do feel like I got a lot of really awesome years with my father. He had dementia and Alzheimer's, and for those 3 years before he passed, he was suffering so much. So that was hard to watch. But one thing that happens with people who sometimes it happens, not all the time, who have dementia and Alzheimer's is that they can fall in love with a song from younger in their life, and that song, they want to listen to it all the time. And my father's song, it's so good. It's Archie Bell and the Drills, Tighten Up. And he would say to us, "I want y'all to put on that little screen of yours, that Archie Bell and the Drills." And we knew what he was talking about. You know, he didn't use phones. He didn't use computers. He wanted to see it, though, on YouTube, Archie Bell and the Drills, Tighten Up. And he would get it on, and he would just start snapping and dancing. And so I think he found his joy and his, like, happiness when that song came on. So every time I hear that song, I think about him. I have to figure out a way to cover it, too. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be great. We have another question from Ron Braithwaite. He's a reader from Portland, Oregon. He asks, where did the inspiration for Working Women's Blues come from? That is such a heartbreaking tune.
I don't really know where the inspiration came from. It came into my life when I moved into New York, and I was just sitting around and like messing with the guitar, and that one came music first. So I sat with it and I just started to play a little bit. I played for days like that, just messing around with it. And then I started to hear the voice over the music. It just first came like, "I've been working like a man," you know? And so I feel like the music gave me that one, which is a different way for me to write. I don't write that way very often, sometimes. But I think it's because I started as a singer first. I didn't start as a musician. I started playing music when I was in my early 20s. And so I'm a late bloomer on the music scene as far as an instrument. But with my voice and singing, that is the most natural for me and the most fun in a lot of ways, so, and effortless. So that song, you know, was one of the first that I wrote that way, where it's music first. Since then, I've written a few that way. I'm going to play one. Well, no. Yeah, with you, I'll play that. And that's one that I wrote music first. So as I get older and I grow as a songwriter, I'm learning new ways to be inspired. Because what if the voices stop coming one day? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I have to keep them open and keep them coming, but I can't depend on that forever. I must learn new ways to write, you know.
Mm-hmm. Howie Weiner, a reader from Chicago, says, please ask Miss June about the influence of Van Morrison upon her own music and tell her I adore her voice, songs, and yes, the impossibility of placing her musical sense within the confines of a single genre. Bravo to Miss June and the NY Times.
Well, thank you. Okay, so Van Morrison. If there ever was a spiritual kind of music, I would say that he did it, you know? And so, because I hear so many different styles in the music that he does, I mean, I can hear how he probably was listening to some of those soul records, you know, coming out of Memphis, or that he might have been, like, interested in some of the old blues stuff, that he might have listened to, like, a little bit of country stuff. But what I really hear is a spirit, and I think that, it's a hard thing to get that kind of spirit in music, you know, where it's just, I mean, to me it's like there might as well be some of the songs that he sings just like otherworldly gospel songs of sorts, and not church spirit, just spirit, like they just take you somewhere else to a place and, you know, transport you out of time into this place where it is like, sweet thing, yeah, that's where you are. So he's great. I mean, I love how he was able to also mix so many different influences into what he does. And, you know, that's part of what I meant earlier when I was speaking with Patrick about how it is that we do study the past, but we also move into the future. I mean, there are purists, there are people who play and keep the tradition, and I think that's cool. But there's also people who like study that and say, well, how does this relate to me? And where do I find myself in time in this place? And I feel like he's one of those people who went into the music but also came out pretty spiritual and timeless, and like I lose track of time when I'm listening to his songs, and mostly based off the lyrics. I love the lyrics so much.
We'd love to hear you play with you if you can.
I can't do it. No, I'm joking. I can do it.
Thank you.
Okay. So this one came music first. And then a very magical, childlike voice started to come on top of it. Can I have a stand? Shall we take a chance? Oh, too long and pine, oh, to search and find. Is it do, si do, is it toe to toe? Let a mighty tree grow a love so free. And if I should fall so deep and true, and if I should fall so deep, may it be with you. Cutting fast judge, but we don't think much about what winter came, only what remains. And if I should fall so deep and true, and if I should fall so deep, may it be with you. Periwinkle rose, and each day we chose, having known you long, kept it sweet and strong, write a poem or song, but you can't hold on to what's come and gone, only what's begun. And if I should fall so deep and true, and if I should fall so deep, may it be with you. May it be with you. May it be with you. May it be with
Yay! Thank you, Valerie.
Thank you.
I think we have one more song, and we're also getting a lot of amazing audience questions. So after that last song, if we could ask you a few more, we would love that.
No, I'm joking. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna switch these instruments. This is my banjo. I have a lot of banjos now. Singer's throat spray. But this is the beater that I can take with me everywhere and not worry about it, because it's just sturdy as a rock, and it doesn't give me any trouble because it's not as old as some of the other ones I have. So when I was out in Oklahoma at the American Banjo Museum, I saw all of these amazing different banjos, and I was kind of shocked that the banjo has had such a crazy, interesting, wild, and amazing life. And, you know, I kind of got scared when this song came because I thought, banjo, you're not supposed to do that. I thought banjos were only supposed to sing bluegrass or country or blues. Well, I could sing you a country tune, carry the name, sweet Valerie June. But I got soul, I got sweet soul, I got soul. Well, I could play you the blues, have carry the load while you paying your dues. But I got soul, I got sweet soul, I got soul. Yeah, I got soul, yeah, I got soul, yeah, I got sweet soul, I got soul. Misunderstood, been tossed and tangled in the search of what's good. Follow your soul, said your sweet soul. So, yeah, I got soul, yeah, I got soul, yeah, I got sweet soul, I got soul. Well, I got soul, yeah, I got soul, yeah, I got sweet soul, I got soul. I'm talking to you now, singing to you now, 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 now. Come on, get you some soul. Soul. Yeah, I got soul. Yeah, I got soul. Yeah, I got sweet soul. Soul. Yeah, I got soul, yeah, I got soul, yeah, I got sweet soul, I got soul.
Thank you so much, Valerie. We do have a few more questions we want to sneak in here at the end. Kevin Crowell, he's a reader from River Forest. He asks, what would your advice be to parents who want to instill in their children a love of music? What would you recommend they do?
Just play music around them all the time. Surround them with music. But never force them to do it, you know. And music movies are cool, too, for children. Like, we used to watch Sound of Music around the house, and ultimately that's what our family became. It became like the Sound of Music. Everybody sang. Everybody had their spot, and we'd be preparing dinner, and somebody would start a song, and somebody else would jump in on it. Oh, I got you on backup on that. And it was not something we talked about. It's just something we did. So our whole family was like a singing family, like on Sound of Music. So I think the more you surround them with music, the more they will want to do it. Just lay some instruments around. But don't make them play it. Don't tell them you want them to do it. Just put it there and see what happens.
Great. We have an audience question from Robin, a reader from Albany, New York, asking, can you talk about your songwriting process? Do you go through drafts and writing it? I would love to hear more about how you get from idea to a finished song.
Usually what happens is I hear the voice, I write the song, and then I sit with the song and the melody. When I hear the voice, they're singing to me. So I hear what the song is supposed to sound like. And I match my playing. I go from instrument to instrument till I find the instrument that's right to match the voice. And that's how I taught myself how to play was, I had people that were trying to teach me how to play, but that didn't work. I couldn't play that way. What happened, I had to sit down with the instrument and I had to say, well, okay, I got this voice, and this voice is singing, yeah, I got soul, yeah, I got soul, got soul. That one sounds good, all right then, and go from there. And it's the same with all the instruments. So I think there are musicians who are amazingly skilled, and that's not my thing. My thing is to play to my voice, and the way that the songs come to me makes it easy for me to do that. Because the funny thing is, the reason I know these voices are different is since my father passed, I have started to write poems, and I got like 4 poems, and the poetry voice has no melody. It doesn't sing, it only talks. That's it. And so that's the reason even more so I think these voices are special, is because they do sing, I hear the melody. They sing to me like I sing to you. So it's like I got on headphones or something and they're running around like, get you some soul. But nobody can hear but me. And my job is to take that and get it out. And sometimes I get a song and I call it a skeleton when I get a piece of a song. And I don't have the other piece. But another artist might have it. Like with Tennessee Time, that song was like that. I received running on Tennessee time, running on Tennessee time, and that chorus. And when I got with Dan Auerbach, I sat with him. He was like, what have you been working on? And I went through my book of skeletons, and I was like, I wonder if he has the other side to this skeleton. Another bone. And so I sang it for him, and he was like, yeah, let's work on that. And he had the other part. So for these books and books and books of skeletons I have, sometimes I go sit with other songwriters to see if they have the other side to it. But many times the songs will just come as a whole piece for me. Most of the songs come as a whole piece. I hear the whole, like, everything, the chorus, the verse, everything. If they don't, I put them in the book of skeletons, and it could be years before I find the other part. Sometimes it's me just going through my life, and then years later, I'm singing the song again, and the full song comes. And it's just crazy because I'm like, okay, well, why didn't you come 6 years ago? Why didn't you come 8 years ago? I was wrecking myself trying to get the rest because it's so exciting when a song starts to come that you really want to receive the whole thing. But that's not always the way it goes, so I have to go with whatever the voices say. I have to do whatever they say, and my job is, once they do come to me, to serve them. So surround them with the right people that I feel like will help me to put all the colors in. So it's kind of like I get the drawing and the full, sketch of the image, and then we go back and we put in these colors and these shades, and we make it into a beautiful painting. So that's how it is.
Great. Thank you, Valerie. And this will be our last audience question. So I just want to thank our audience for joining us today for this live performance with Valerie June. Marty Player, a reader from Charleston, South Carolina, asks, I'd like to know about her gold shoes. They're great.
I love those gold shoes. I love them so much. I tried to get 2 pairs. I actually did get 2 pair of gold shoes. But they're not exactly the same, and I like the ones that I wear all the time, and they're starting to get worn, so I'm going to have to break out the spray paint, Marty. I'm going to have to break it Yeah, because I like painting, so I might as well paint my gold shoes again, because I've worn them at almost every show, and they make me, like, just so happy. And you have to find joy in the day. You have to find it. It doesn't always come to you. You're not always waking up with it. So if you find something you can wear that makes you happy, like these little beetle bugs, they make me happy. So if you find it, then you should. And I got them very cheap, and I'm not going to tell you where I got them, but I've seen gold shoes at a lot of places now. And the reason I'm not going to tell you is you're just going to get frustrated, because I went back to try to get some more in several cities all over the world, and they don't have them anymore. They're off. They're not making them anymore. So I don't want you to get frustrated, but I do want you to find some. And even if you got to get like a golden marker and like make you some gold shoes, you need to do it. And I would suggest like going to Hobby Lobby or Michael's and getting some glitter and putting that on there too.
Great. Thank you so much for your time, Valerie. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Y'all have a good day.